Hi beautiful people. Today I'm going to give you an update on Elijah McClain. Thank you so much to everyone who's been advocating for justice for Elijah McClain. Your work has been invaluable in helping to raise the voice of his mother Shaneen. So just thank you so much for being here. This video isn't going to show any graphic images or videos, but it will empower you to continue fighting this great fight for justice for Elijah McClain. Elijah would have celebrated his 25th birthday this year, but instead his life was snuffed out by the violence and incompetence of 3 Aurora, Colorado police officers: Nathan Woodyard, Randy Roedema, Jason Rosenblatt, as well as paramedic Jeremy Cooper, who injected Elijah with ketamine. I could not find a picture of Jeremy Cooper, but if anyone has one, please feel free to send it my way. I'm sharing these photoshopped images of the 3 officers in orange jumpsuits because I have been making vision boards since I was a little girl, and they have been highly effective. You'll actually read in my upcoming memoir, On Her Knees, that I prayed for this movie star when I was in high school by putting a post-it note on my bedroom mirror, and she wound up being one of the very first people I met in LA. I also kept a shoebox of my aspirations under my bed, and about a decade later I pulled it out and found that most of the things that I'd been aspiring to and praying for had actually come true. And this is a mess because of a move, but the night before I found out I was pregnant, I had actually made this vision board with a group of my girlfriends, and you may not be able to see it, but right here there is a woman holding a baby boy. And I found out I was pregnant the next day and had a baby boy 8 months later. So whatever, maybe it's outlandish, maybe it's out of the box, but visualization can be a very powerful tool in your prayer life and in your meditation. And something I want more than many, many other things is to see justice for Elijah McClain. So this is my vision board for Elijah McClain. And if you think it's at all harsh or judgmental to picture these 3 men in prison, I'd encourage you to read the report I'm sharing today. This 150-page document is attached below. It was released on February 26, 2021, and it's the result of an independent investigation that was commissioned by the City Council of the City of Aurora. The investigators were civil rights lawyer Jonathan Smith, an emergency medicine expert, Dr. Melissa Costello, and a retired police chief, Roberto Villasenor. The investigation began in July 2020 after enormous worldwide pressure and almost an entire year after Elijah's murder. So, it's safe to say this investigation would likely never have happened without the power of the people raising their voices and demanding justice alongside of Elijah's unwavering and courageous mother, Shaneen McClain. I myself have been disgusted and appalled by the city of Aurora and their police department. Their chief at the time of Elijah's death, Nick Metz, and DA Dave Young are some of the most deplorable figures I've ever researched. And y'all know I research some shady figures for God is Gray. But the good news, if there's any, is that this investigation may open the door we need to see this vision become a reality. Because although the report's intent was not to place blame for Elijah's death, the majority of police are exonerated for murdering innocent civilians because their protocol technically allowed it. But this report shows that these officers and paramedics did not follow correct protocol, which from my understanding is what it would take to send these men to prison where they belong. According to the New York Times, the investigation by the Aurora Police Department's Major Crime and Homicide Unit, quote, raised serious concerns for the panel and revealed significant weaknesses in the department's accountability systems. The report shows that their internal investigation failed to ask basic critical questions, and its questions frequently appear designed to elicit specific exonerating, quote, magic language found in court rulings. According to the report, officers and paramedics acted unjustifiably throughout the encounter on August 24, 2019. The first officer on the scene was Nathan Woodyard, who, without justification, immediately ordered Mr. McClain to stop. Quote, within 10 seconds of exiting his patrol car, Officer Woodyard placed his hands on Mr. McClain. Meanwhile, to justify an investigatory stop, an officer must have, quote, reason reasonable objective grounds and an articulable or reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. The officer must also rely on the least intrusive means to verify or dispel those suspicions. It turns out, in later interviews with the Major Crime Unit, neither Officer Woodyard nor two colleagues who later joined him articulated a crime that they thought Mr. McClain had committed, was committing, or was about to commit. Next, Officer Roedema can be heard on police body camera video saying, "He grabbed your gun, dude." But let's remember that all three of these officers claim to have lost their body-worn cameras. So it is my opinion that this was a lie to justify their sadistic behavior, which brings up genuine concerns for anyone who might encounter these officers. After this, the 5'7" Elijah McClain was wrestled to the ground and suffered 2 carotid holds, which are used to render someone unconscious. And now, this is why we want to see paramedic Jeremy Cooper in an orange jumpsuit too. When emergency medical workers arrived, they appeared to have accepted the officer's impression that Mr. McClain had excited delirium without corroborating that impression through meaningful observation or diagnostic examination of Mr. McClain. Based on that impression, the paramedics decided to give Mr. McClain ketamine, but a fire lieutenant who was at the scene incorrectly estimated the weight of 140-pound Mr. McClain, so 140-pound Elijah McClain was given enough ketamine for a person weighing 190 pounds. After this incident, Elijah McClain went into cardiac arrest and died in the hospital. So, beautiful people, please continue advocating for justice for Elijah McClain. Again, if you'd like to read the report and form your own opinion on this, it's linked below. And to encourage you, Aurora, Colorado has done the wrong thing over and over again, but they are also showing us that activism works. They are changing policies, they are listening to us. So let's stay alert and be sure they do the right thing. And I'll leave you with the words of Elijah's mother, Shanine McClain. An excerpt from the Colorado Sun reads, "Some have wondered what Elijah meant when he said he was different. Shanine McClain said she thinks he was trying to tell police that he was not a statistic Black individual, but someone who was living a good life and not harming anyone. She thinks what Elijah said to the officers was a way to reach out to their humanity and for her son to remember who he was because she believes he knew he was dying. Quote, it's his character that people are connecting to," Shanine said. "It's his heart that people are seeing. It's his soul that people are paying attention to. Let's continue to pay attention." And that's it. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, donate to my Patreon or Venmo if you can. I love you all so much. God bless.